this question stem is asking us to find an answer choice that most helps to justify the argument. So we call this a pseudo-sufficient assumption question. And the distinction between that and sufficient assumption, it's really not all that relevant for this particular question. We do have lessons that cover that. But here, all you need to know is just you find an answer choice that makes this argument as strong as you possibly can. Very, very important here to, as with all logical reasoning questions that have arguments, to separate out the conclusion and the premises you have, and then just bridge that gap. So we have romantics who claim that. So already we're beginning with someone else's claims, romantics. And what do they claim? See, that's the sociologists versus romantics. Romantics claim, as reported to you by sociologists, that people are not born evil. So we're not born evil. We're just made evil by the imperfect institutions, right? That's what the romantics say. Like, you see someone evil, they weren't born evil. They were just made evil by the institutions. But the sociologists say that cannot be right. That's the sociologist's claim. They cannot be right, referencing this whole thing. So that's the conclusion. So let's say not institutions make people evil. That can't be right. Why? For our grammar lessons. For introduced premises. After all, also introduced premises. So great. These two premises support the conclusion. What is the premises? For. Why? Because they misunderstand the causal relation between people and their institutions. Okay. But like, that's not very helpful. What is the causal relation between people and their institutions? After all, institutions are merely collections of people. Okay, so what's an institution? It's just a collection of people. But I don't see why that means that institutions can't make people evil. Right? You see, like, okay, so what's an institution? Institution is just a collection of people. You think of a university as an institution. What's a university? It's just a collection of faculty and students and staff and whatever. But what if it's an evil university? Right? Why can't it make people evil? So you see, this is a very weird, bizarre argument. But our job is to make this argument good. Our job is to say, if this is my premise, then I need to make this premise totally supportive of this conclusion. So the easiest thing to say is that, oh, well then, if the institution is sort of the set, the class, the category, right? The institution cannot impart properties onto its members. Then we got the institution cannot make people evil, because the set, the class, the category cannot impart properties onto its members, which is actually sort of what he says, but in different phrasing. The whole, the collection, the institution, referring to, right, this thing right here, does not determine the properties, evil, of the things that compose it. The things is the people that compose it, is the whole, again, the institution. Well, if that's the case, if institutions does not determine evilness of the people that compose it, then there you go. Then this argument's totally, like, it's a great argument. This premise now suddenly has all the support it could ever want for this conclusion. And that's exactly what we're trying to do. That answers the question. The others just sort of don't. Let's see what the others say. A says people acting together in institution can do more good or evil than acting alone. Okay, so if you act together in institution, you can do more harm than acting alone, and you can also do more good than acting alone. Great, but that doesn't answer the question whether are institutions capable of making people evil, right? Because with A, all we have is just institutions are collections of people. Why does that say that they can't make people evil? B says institutions formed by people are inevitably imperfect. Okay, great. Again, it just doesn't do what we want it to do. C says people should not be overly optimistic in their view. All right, so that's like a warning for you to not be too optimistic about individual humans. But that has nothing to do with this argument. D says society's institutions are the surest gauge of society's values. That may well be true, but still, that doesn't answer the question of can institutions make people evil, given that institution is just a collection of people. But you see, like, once you recognize this, once you know what the question stem is asking you to do, you realize how utterly irrelevant and sort of utterly useless these wrong answer choices are in order to do the task, to complete the task that the question stem assigns to us.